My mouth was already full of blood when I realized I wasn't alone. Something had just slammed into my back, hard enough to knock the air out of me. And now my face was buried in snow that tasted like rust and dirt. My gloves were gone. My hands were numb, and someone was breathing right behind my ear. Fast, excited, almost laughing. I twisted my head and caught a flash of movement. Small, too small. A knee dug into my spine. Fingers raked across my neck. I screamed, but the sound came out wrong, strangled, wet. Whoever was on top of me giggled, high-pitched, childish, and then the fingers squeezed harder. I managed to shove backward with my legs and rolled, throwing my shoulder into the weight on my back. Something flew off me and hit the ground with a hollow thump. I scrambled up, slipping in the snow, and finally got my feet under me. 10 feet away stood a boy, barely up to my chest, skinny, bundled in a puffy winter jacket, snow clinging to his hair. He was smiling, not confused, not scared, smiling like I'd just done something funny. "Why did you stop?" he asked. His voice was calm, friendly, too calm. My neck was burning. My fingers came back wet and red when I touched it. "You attacked me," I said. He tilted his head slowly, studying my bleeding hand. "No," he said. "You ran." I didn't remember starting to run. But when I looked down, I saw my footprints leading away from a narrow trail that vanished into thick trees. They curved, crooked and desperate, like I'd panicked before I ever realized what I was doing. The boy took a step closer. Snow crunched under his boots. "You weren't supposed to run yet," he said softly. A wave of nausea hit me. "Where did you come from?" I asked. He shrugged. "Up there." He pointed past me. I turned, and my stomach dropped. The tree behind me was tall, bare, and straight as a pole. Its lowest branch was far above my head. "There," he said. "That's where you were supposed to look first." My brain tried to make sense of that. "How did you get up there?" I asked. He smiled wider. "You don't ask good questions." The snow was falling harder now, thick, fast, filling in the footprints behind us. I took a step back. He took one forward. "You're bleeding," he said, sounding almost disappointed. "You're hurting me," I snapped. "No," he replied. "You're just leaking." My chest tightened. "Where are your parents?" I asked. He stared at me for a long second. Then he said, "You're the one who came to the quiet place." Something about the way he said it made my stomach twist. "You came here," he continued. "You didn't have to." "I'm leaving," I said. He nodded. "Okay," he said, "but you're already late." He suddenly spun around and bolted between the trees. I didn't decide to chase him. My body just moved. Branches tore at my jacket. Snow flew up around my legs. His footprints stayed just far enough ahead of mine that I never quite caught him. He laughed while he ran. Not breathless, not strained, just light, steady laughter. Like we were playing a game he'd already won. "Wait!" I yelled. He laughed harder. We passed another tall tree, and that's when something slammed into me from the side. My shoulder exploded with pain as I hit the ground again. He landed on my chest this time. His knees pressed into my ribs. He leaned down until his face was inches from mine. His breath smelled cold. "I said you were late," he whispered. Then his hands went for my eyes. I screamed and shoved upward with everything I had. My elbow connected with his ribs. He hissed, actually hissed, and slid off me. I rolled, got to my knees, and flung him away with both arms. He hit the snow, bounced once, and popped right back up, laughing. My vision blurred. My neck was dripping. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely feel my fingers. He tilted his head again. "Now you're supposed to go," he said. He turned and ran, deeper into the woods. This time, I didn't follow. I stood there shaking, gasping, staring at the dark tunnel of trees he disappeared into. The snow swallowed his footprints in seconds. Mine stayed. I don't remember how long I stood there. I only remember realizing I was dizzy. Then I remember cold hands on my arms. Then light, voices, sirens. When I woke up, my throat was wrapped in gauze, and my clothes were in a plastic bag beside the hospital bed. A police officer stood at the foot of my bed, flipping through a notebook. He asked me to tell him everything, so I did. I told him about the boy, the tree, the chase, the attack. He didn't interrupt. He just kept writing. When I finished, he closed the notebook. "Are you sure you weren't alone?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "He cut me." He nodded and left. 2 hours later, another officer came in. He sat on the edge of my bed. "We went to the trail," he said. "We followed the tracks." My stomach tightened. "And?" I asked. He hesitated. "There was only one set of footprints," he said. I stared at him. "Mine?" I whispered. He nodded. "They started in the parking lot," he continued. "They wandered off the trail. They stopped near a tree. My heart started pounding. "And then?" I asked. "They kept going," he said. "But no other tracks joined them. No child, no struggle, no second set, just yours." "That's not possible," I said. "He tackled me." "There was blood," he admitted. "But it only matched you." They discharged me the next morning. I didn't drive straight home. I went back to the trail. Fresh snow had covered everything. I walked until I found the tall tree. I stood under it and looked up. The lowest branch was still far above my reach. I called out. My voice vanished into the woods. No one answered. That night, I woke up with the taste of blood in my mouth. My throat burned. I reached for my phone and froze. There were muddy fingerprints on my bedroom wall, small ones, right beside my bed. Too high for a child, too low for an adult, perfectly placed, like someone had leaned over me while I slept. And right under them, carved lightly into the paint with something sharp, was a sentence: "You were supposed to look up first."